In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a quote calculator with multiple options and dynamic way of creating the figures that you need. So to start off, we're going to name this sheet the quote entry, and then here we've defined our questions that we're going to be using for our quote. So then you've now got to basically define what the different options for these are, and we're going to create a new sheet for that. Let's just call it system. And this is where we're going to include all of our tables. So service type, and then we're going to input all of our options. And do the same for the rest of them. So now that we've got these, we can basically create our drop downs. So for the service type, you're going to go to the data tab, data validation, press list, and for the source, we're then going to select the service types. So now, as you can see, the options are in here. So choose the longest one so we can make sure it's the right size, and then we could just basically do the same thing for the rest of them. So property type, go to the source, add that. Again, it's the same. Do the same for the size. Okay, so now that we've got this ready, we can go ahead and make the logic. So now we're going to need to add our base costs in. So back in our system sheet, let's just add a bit of space here. For this, we're actually going to create a table. So we're going to have our types, and then we're going to need to add in our base. Then we can either go to insert table or Control T. You get this little pop up, add headers, and then maybe we'll do it like that column, and then we'll set the base. So like a new wiring installation, base cost would be £200, 50, sorry, 40, and let's make that 60, and then the panel upgrade be say 500. We can highlight that by selecting, or just if you click here, and then formatting should be currency, just so it's easy on the eye. And then we can also make this a little bit prettier as well. Colour these in as well, so it's obvious that it's the form. In light. That's kind of annoying that that's there. Yeah, let's make this more obvious. Let's make the text white. Okay, so now we've got that, we can begin to create the output. So over here, we're going to add in some of our formulas. So in order to get the cost for the service type, we need to do a VLOOKUP, and we're going to be looking for this in the service type table, and then we're going to return column 2, and we want an exact match. So that's return 60, and as you can see, when we change it, it's going to return the base cost. Then Now we're going to need some modifiers. So if it's different property types, it's going to be different price. Same with size of the rooms, and whether it's urgent or not. So we're going to go ahead and create another table. We'll need another service type here. That should be property type. And then a modifier. And we'll put our options in. So that will be 0, 20, and 40. But these should be percentages. So I'm going to have to redo that. And then Control T, add that to a table. And I'm going to make this the default because I don't want to keep switching. So just right click on the style and then press set as default. So whenever I create a table, it's just going to use that same one. The other modifier that we're going to need, well, the other two actually, but one's we're not going to add it right now. The other one's going to be the urgency. So let's just copy these headers for now. And then I want to paste as values, which is this, which you can also do the shortcut for it. I'm just going to add another column in. Let's make this urgency. And then we've got our options from here. And then let's add this to the table, Control T again. Table definitely has headers. As you can see, the color's already set. And then we're going to make sure that this is a percentage first. So if it's within 24 hours, 100%, then 50, 20, and then 0. So now we've got our modifiers. We need to make sure that these are actually synced up, and we're just going to use the same formula again. So equals VLOOKUP, this value again, in the property type table, return column 2, and false for an exact match. And then we'll just do the same again for here. And something to make things a little bit prettier. So as you can see here, it says table 3. We have no idea what that actually means. So if we go to table design, when you select the table, you can then rename the table here. So here we're just going to say base costs, property modifier, no spaces because it won't work, urgency modifier. Cool. So now we've got that. We need to work out how to incorporate our size. This is going to be based on materials. So let's just add in another space for this. And we're going to need the service type. We'll need the size, the product, and then this is where we set our quantities and then obviously the cost per unit. So let's just add this to a table and put our service types in, but obviously not all of them might have products. So in this instance, it will only be these 3. Sorry, not this one. And to delete the column, the row, just press Control and then minus, or you can right click and delete, but yeah. Then we're going to need to put in our options. So as you can see, there's 3 different types of size. So we're actually going to need a few of these. So Control plus, we're going to need 3. So, and then let's just drag this one down to resize it. and then copy these down. And then we just copy the sizes in. So each one has its own option. And then the relevant product. So this will be wiring. This will be fixtures. And then that would just be copied the same. And then we'll set, our predefined quantities. And then we'll input like a cost per unit as well. Feel free to pause this while you're filling in your own. Then we'll make sure we rename the table. So table design. And then let's call this product table. Now we can then automatically select different things based on the size. So we have the cost, which is not relevant for this. Then we'll need to make sure we return these 3 items. So now to get the product, and we can't really use a VLOOKUP because there's multiple criteria. So in this instance, because it's one thing we're returning, we can actually use a SUMIFS as a little hack. So the first thing we need is the sum range. So we're going to want the quantity. The criteria range will be the service type. And then the actual criteria is obviously going to be the service type. And then second criteria range is going to be the size. And then the next thing we're going to need is the size. And then that should be it. So that will return 3 of that product, and that's the quantity, not the name. So in this instance, because there's only one product per service, we can easily use a VLOOKUP. Again, we'll be looking up the service type in this table, and then we'll want to return column 3, and we then want an exact match. So fixtures 3, and then we'll also use a VLOOKUP to get the cost. Again, we can just change this, and the cost per unit is in column 5, so that needs to be a 5. And then now we've got that, we can then start to create something that creates the total figure. So we'll need the base plus times whatever the multiplier is. Obviously, as this is a percentage, we need to add 1 to it because otherwise it's going to times by 0. And then we'll do the same for the other one. So that's the base cost. Let's make that base. Then we'll do a materials cost. Which is literally this times this. We can even add somewhere in to put required materials, and then that would just be the product. And I want to just copy this, so then you could do as formatting. Let's make these, we'll do it in a sec. And then we'll do the total cost. Which will literally just be the two added together. And then let's make this a bit more visible. Shift uniformity, I'm going to keep it that way. And let's make these into currency. And then if you want, at the end, you could go to view and then turn off, turn off headings and then grid lines. Just makes it look a little bit more professional. And then yeah, that's it. So now you can literally change any of these factors and it will work out your costs. In the next part, I'm going to go over how to turn this into something a little bit more advanced with multiple products and a way to produce the invoice. But that's going to require a little bit of macros and VBA. So that's going to be a bit more of an advanced topic, but stay tuned for next time.